Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to SA Accounting Academy. Here's a short clip on one of our previous webinars. I hope that you really do enjoy it.
To the session. It is essentially part 3 because we did the overview, which is a taste tester of everything we were discussing. We did personal ethics and now we're on to business ethics. So welcome to the session and welcome to a conversation. Ethics isn't really one of those sessions that we can, it's not sort of like point this, para that, do this, do that. It's more of a conversation about where we're at, what we're thinking, and what we're doing, and to try and decide for ourselves what this looks like in real life. Sorry, I'm feeling a little bit hot and sweaty here, just simply because I was racing to get here on time, to be punctual, to be professional, and to practice what I preach, which sometimes is harder than we think. I think we've, just like what we've discussed all the way through. We have an idealized idea of what we want, and then we have things that we are, lines in the sand that we will not cross, and we pretty much operate between those two places in life. And my message throughout the series has been, keep on striving, keep on trying. To err is human. We are fallible, and to acknowledge that we have challenges and to acknowledge that we do things in a certain way, but as long as we are cognizant of our behavior, cognizant of what we're doing, thinking and aware, we can always, when we know better, do better. So I'm Caryn Maitland. For those of you that are latecomers to the series, there are 2 other sessions in the series that you can look up if you haven't done them. Today's session, it's sort of the meat and the sandwich, really, because the grounding in everything in ethics is who you are as a person. Okay, so the first session, we spent a lot of time really digging into ourselves, reflecting on ourselves, thinking about our particular perspective at the moment, being aware that other people may have different perspectives on the same issues, really trying to reflect on what we are thinking. I think sometimes we just are overwhelmed, dealing with life, going from one chaos crisis to the next chaos and crisis, trying to just get through this thing called life, as Prince once said. And we don't often have time just to stop and ask ourselves, well, what are we thinking, where are we at, and where are we going? So that's the personal ethics space. Get in touch with who you are. I know it sounds iffy and airy and fairy, but it's really, really critical, because you don't want to just be reactive. You don't want to just not understand why you're reacting and behaving in the way that you are. Okay. On the other hand of the sandwich is what we'll be covering next, which is professional ethics. Now, generally, when people think about accounting ethics, that's where they go. Okay, they go straight to professional ethics, code of conduct. This is what my profession tells me to do. This is how I must behave. This is what the do's and don'ts are, and that's ethics. But that is just one element of a much bigger picture. The link, really, to me between these two is business ethics. And I have to say, business ethics is such a wide topic. People make their entire careers out of business ethics, talking about it, and not even just in the accounting space, just in the commercial space. Everybody in business really needs to think about the way they do business. And I've been sort of thinking, because business ethics is one of those hard ones for me to articulate and to really get the message across. So your comments and your thoughts are welcome, but this really, what I want to think about before we get into all the depths and detail, is to ask yourself, just as I asked you in your personal ethics, how do you want to be remembered as a person? How do you want your business to be known as? Okay, so when people think about your business, when people think about your corporate life, when people think about you as running a business, whatever that business may be, it may be practice, it may be something else, what type of reputation do you want to have in the market? Okay, I had a very, I don't know if it's cynical is the word, but a practitioner who had been in the game for a very long time saying, every ethical dilemma has an economic consequence. There's definitely an economy to ethics, okay? And you will be known for certain behavior and certain actions and certain way that you conduct yourself. And people will be attracted to that and want to do business with you for those ethics. Okay. Be they good or bad. There's two flip sides to this. If people know that you're prepared to play dodgems and they want to play dodgems, they'll come and play in your game. If people know that you do things properly and ethically and they sleep well at night knowing that everything has been handled in a way and that you'll talk straight with them about the situation, you'll give them good, honest, objective advice, they will pay for that as well. Okay. And that's also, just like I said before with personal ethics, when you start looking around your friend circle and you start looking around those that you associate with and you're wondering, do you really like the people that you're surrounded with? Asking yourself, well, how have I behaved, or what have I done, or what can I change in order to make sure that the circle that I'm with is of the quality and of the standard that I want to be with? The same applies for business. Okay, that maxim of teach people how to treat you does not change. So that's why I'm saying that the concepts and foundations of personal ethics definitely carry over into business ethics. Okay, and business ethics is a very broad space, because, like I said, it's not just accountants that work with business ethics. The medical profession, the lawyers, people in retail, wholesale, manufacture, agriculture, every pretty much industry you can think of, they all have to conduct themselves within a mandate of what they perceive to be business ethics. Okay. As with all my training, those of you who know me well know that I like an interactive audience. I like comments. I like questions. I won't necessarily deal with your comment or question as you pose it, unless it obviously fits seamlessly into my conversation. I might park it and know that I'm going to cover something similar to that later and then pick it up. Or I might, on the breaks, sort of go through and check all the comments and questions and see if there's anything that we can discuss at that point. If you want to find out more about me, this is who I am, and you're welcome to look me up and see who I am and what I'm about. I stand by who I am and what I do. Okay, so if we had to stop and really think about what business ethics means, and corporate governance, by the way, is an element of business ethics. Business ethics is a much broader conversation and description of what we're talking about. So some ideas about what people think of business ethics to be. I think this is a really, really apt quote when it says, it's the culture of an organization. Okay, the culture of an organization is shaped by the worst behavior the leader is willing to tolerate. So the ethics of a business and the characteristics of a business is shaped by the worst behavior that we will tolerate. So what we allow to happen will create a foundation of your business. So if you allow gossiping to happen, then people will gossip. If you allow insubordination, well, then that'll happen. If you allow people to be late and tardy and scruffy and unkept, well, that'll happen. If you have a zero tolerance policy with swearing and with disrespectful language, well, that won't happen. Okay, so that idea of the way I've always thought of this before I saw this quote, I've always, right since I was a trainee, and I went through, in my articles, we changed senior partners a couple of times for various reasons. And I saw very quickly and clearly that each time there was a changing of the guard, an organization takes on the characteristics of its leaders. Okay, the personality of your leader, the way your leader manages things and values things and places emphasis and importance on things, definitely trickles down to the staff, and the staff start to reflect that. Okay, and it happens really quickly. If any of you have been in that circumstance when you've had a changing of the guard, it's amazing how quickly it happens that the organization you find yourself in may not be the organization you were in a couple of weeks ago. And that's good and bad, because it means that there's always space to improve. If you've had a very challenging leadership situation and your leadership changes to the better, that means that the organization can change. And that gives me a lot of hope just for the world in general. It's going to be very interesting just thinking about this. I always use the States as an example when we've gone from Obama to Trump to Biden, and thinking about the characteristic of, if you had to describe what the US looks like under those different administrations. We've just had a changing of the guard yesterday in terms of the UK Prime Minister. They've gone from Boris Johnson to Liz Truss.
I hope that you enjoyed that video. For more of our webinar videos, go to www.accountingacademy.co.za. Thank you and have a lovely day.